Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Troglodidi and today I will be hosting an interview with a very special guest. I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Adrian McKenzie-Patasar, the CEO of American Leisure Holdings and DNA Brands, traded under the symbols AMLH and DNAX. Welcome Adrian.
Greetings, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. It is a real pleasure to have you here.
Likewise. Thank you. I always love to talk to shareholders and investors.
Perfect. Today we'll discuss several topics which the shareholders would like addressed. We are sorry in advance for those topics that weren't covered, and I think we can dive right into it, shall we?
Yeah, sounds great.
Very good. So let's start with DNAX. So first question, what acquisitions are you planning for the company?
Well, as we all know, DNAX I've been working on since about 2016, so it's been about 6 years since I've been working on this project. Since I've taken it over, I've taken out all the toxic debt has been removed out of the company. We've reversed it once. Actually, excuse me, we reversed it twice. Unfortunately, the first reverse wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It was a 3,500 to 1. So when we reversed it, it was about 0001. When we reversed it, we were thinking we would price it at about 35 cents. Unfortunately, it opened up at 3 cents. So a year and a half, 2 years later, we had to reverse it again. So right now, the company is structured very perfectly, in my opinion. There's only 6.5 million shares issued and out as of Q2 2021, of which I own about 3.5 million. So there's about 2.5, 3 million shares in the public hands. So to answer your question, what do we have lined up? Obviously, I can't tell you right away, but if you look in any of my press releases, you will see that the company is concentrating in 3 verticals. Number one, we have a digital marketing company, which we market solar, residential and commercial solar jobs nationwide. And what we do there is we do the advertising. Once the advertising is done, we collect the lead, we gather the data, and once the lead is qualified, we basically bid out the lead to the highest bidder nationwide for that specific job. The second piece of vertices, or the second line of business in which we're conducting, is in collaboration with a company called Santo Blockchain Mines, ticker SANP. They created a technology, a medicinal packaging technology called DNA tags. Now, the name DNA tags was just a coincidence, but the technology and the packaging itself is a very nice technology. It's RFID and QR code based, but what makes the technology unique is the fact that it's third-party verified via the blockchain. So we're building the platform on the Cardano platform, and we're working hand in hand with the Cardano group. And as they make progress, they've had a few delays in their launch, but as they make progress, we are aligning our product to take off as soon as they are ready. We've done everything we can do on our side, and once that occurs, we will begin actively and aggressively marketing the DNA tags medicinal packaging to the cannabis sector. And like I said, if you read any of my press releases, you'll see the third area of concentration where we want to concentrate is in the cannabis space. Over the past year and a half, 2 years, I've been actively screening, interviewing, and meeting with cannabis companies in order to find the right fit for DNA Brands. Last week, I was in California for about 4 or 5 days. I sat down with several companies, one out of Israel, and 2 out of California. That being said, the meetings went well, and that's pretty much all I can discuss at this point about that.
Thank you for that exceptionally thorough answer.
Thank you.
Remarkable. And the planned share structure changes. So let's say, what is the current share structure? Maybe you're going to do a buyback. Will there be an AS raise, dilution? Are there convertible note holders or something of the sort?
Okay, I will address all of that. As far as share structure, as I mentioned, there's about 6.5 million shares issued and out. I own 3.5 of it. So there's about 3 million shares in the public hands. Actually, it's 2.5 million shares in the public hands. So there's really nothing out there. As far as share buyback, there is no plan for a share buyback. There is no need for that. There's no shares out there. If you blow on the stock, it will move. As we all saw back in the beginning of the year, the stock hit a high of 365 on very little volume. I would say probably a few 100,000 shares over the course of a week or two. Took it from 30 cents to almost $4. So again, there are no shares out there. So that's that. As far as toxic debt and convertible debt is concerned, when I took over the company, there was a handful of toxic debt holders in here. There was, I'm not going to go into names. There's no need to name names. If you really want to know who was in here, you could just check the filings. But since then, over the past 4 or 5 years, I have removed them all. They're all gone. There are no toxic debt holders in here. More importantly, the largest creditor is right here. It's me. So if and when a deal had to come in place, I will gladly use the debt owed to me to either eliminate the debt, keep it, use it to get a deal done. I will use it for the right reasons. I have no interest in diluting the company. I have no interest in toxic finance. I have no interest in just putting pressure on the stock. My goal is to build this company so I can benefit, the shareholders can benefit, and everybody involved. If you're thinking long game, because I'm thinking long game, I want to build a fortune with it, and I think we can easily do so. So as far as the toxic debt is concerned, again, like I said, there is none. There are a few shareholders in here, mom and pops, that have been supporting the company over the years. They have a few notes, but they don't exercise those notes in a toxic fashion. If and when they wanted to do a conversion, they contact me, and I'll do the conversion with them. I'll help them. I walk them through it. And you have to remember, a company like this, to deposit these shares, just to deposit the shares are going to cost you about $2,000. So, the brokerage firms are going to charge you a $1,500 review fee. The attorney's going to charge you anywhere from $500 to north of $1,000 for an opinion letter. So my point being is, if anybody's going to deposit a conversion, it's going to be a big conversion, but B, it's going to be a mom and pop who I will help get to that point. Do you follow me?
I follow. Perfect. Thank you for that, Adrian.
No problem. Thank you. I love to explain the scenario so everybody knows that, what's there.
That's great. And if to summarize DNAX, what will be your nearest goal and what will follow in, let's say, 2 sentences?
My near-term goal with DNAX is to acquire a cannabis-related company so I can combine the assets of DNA right now, where I can use my medicinal packaging technology on cannabis products. And if it came to the point where we could even revive the drink, because we do own a 2-time award-winning energy drink, that would be something I would like to use as well. The digital marketing aspect of our company, it's fully encompassed and it can be accommodating to any industry. Our marketing, I guess you could call him CEO. His name is Andrew Farron. He works in the office. Mm-hmm. And you have to excuse me. I'm working from the home office today because it's a little early still. It's only 8:15 in the morning.
Thank you for joining us anyway.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I understand you're in a different time zone as well. So yes, I thank you for that and accommodating me. But just to wrap up, I just want to be able to combine all my assets together so I can increase the value of the company.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go to the second part of our interview. Again, so let's...
Everybody's favorite.
AMLH. So, First question, and there are a couple here. Acquisitions and merger status. Whatever you can tell us.
Well, I think that's putting the cart before the horse. Why don't we talk about reinstating
Let's.
the company?
The Nevada reinstatement.
Yeah, I think that's most important, because if the company is not reinstated, all of that means nothing.
So let's start with that.
Yeah, so what is the question regarding, what are your questions regarding reinstatement?
Have you paid the fee? And when do you assume that the reinstatement will happen?
Great. Thank you for asking that question. So to answer the question, as of today, July 23rd, we have not paid the state of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to pay the state of Nevada before the end of the month, before the end of July is my goal. Having said that, I am in constant contact with investors, with partners, people who want to be involved. And I'm in the process of right now of just raising a few funds so that we can pay the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada is and anybody can go on the website, they can see it. It's if you go to Nevada Silver Flume or NevadaSOS.com, you will see that the state of Nevada is owed $12,300. So it's not a small bill. It's a substantial bill, So we are looking to pay the state of Nevada before the end of the month, so that we can then proceed to deal with OTC markets.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. And in one of your tweets, you wrote great projects on the horizon. I wonder, in what way could you elaborate and tell us more about that?
Well, obviously I can only give you so much information, but that being said, since I've taken over the company, especially in the past 6 months, I have met with several parties who are very interested in working with AMLH. AMLH and DNA brand, they're like apples and oranges, because AMLH has a built-in market into it, which is great. It has a lot of international support. I talk to shareholders from all around the world. I've talked to people in Italy. I've talked to people in France. I've talked to people in Israel. I've talked to people in Canada. I've talked to people in Russia. So, like I said, the market support with AMLH is excellent, and we love it, and I love it. So what I'm trying to do is basically clean up the company, and then, like I said, I've talked to several people. There are several parties interested in coming into this vehicle, but I haven't made any commitments to any of them as of yet.
Very nice. Okay, to the next question. And again, regarding the share structure, which is the current share structure, buybacks, AS raise, dilution, or convertible note holders?
Well, I think there's about 3.7 billion shares issued and outstanding on American Leisure. To the best of my knowledge, and I'm pretty knowledgeable because I speak to the transfer agent often, the company is pretty much fully diluted. As far as convertible notes are concerned, there are no more convertible notes in this company. It's pretty much debt-free. As far as share buyback, I don't think that will be happening. Again, the company has created its own market. So I don't see a need for a share buyback right now. It's not like the company is really suffering and it has no bid, and if that was the case, maybe. But again, a buyback requires funding. So I would rather take any funding that the company has and apply that towards a meaningful project that can bring value and revenue to the company.
Yes.
In my opinion, buybacks are for the New York Stock Exchange companies and the likes. Every now and then you come across a pink sheet or an OTC that does a buyback, but I don't see one happening in the near future, Chuglo. Sorry, I don't.
I see. Okay. And regarding the authorized shares raise, do you think he'll do one?
I think we will raise the authorized a little bit. Right now, there's about 4 billion issued and 4 billion authorized. I think we'll raise it a little bit after we become current, because we have to raise some funds. We either have to raise it or we have to reverse split the stock. I'm sure the shareholders would much rather I raise it a little bit than reverse split the stock. So you tell me, as a shareholder, what would you rather I do?
You're correct with your assumption. An
I
AS
don't want
raise
to.
is better than a reverse split.
You know what? Raise it a little bit. Issue some stock to myself. I'm the CEO. I can't sell it. Issue some stock for a deal. They can't sell it. So the reality is the float will pretty much stay the same.
I see. Okay, so no change to the float. And do you have an estimation as to what value you will raise the authorized shares?
Well, I don't. But seeing that there's 4 billion out there right now, you have to assume, if you do the math, so if the stock is hypothetically at 003, which is not far away,
Mm-hmm.
if I raise the authorized by 1 billion, so we take it to 5 billion, that gives me the ability to hypothetically raise the market cap by about $3 million. So and that also gives me the potential to use that increase of by 1 billion to potentially raise $3 million. So, I don't see huge increases, because if I were to dilute the company, that doesn't help anybody. So, a small raise, maybe 1 billion shares, assuming I'm just using 003 as the number. Because if I did a 1 billion share increase at 003, like I said, it raised the market cap by about 3 million. Those shares give me the ability to use those shares as currency.
Yes. So let's continue to the next question. The OTCIQ access. When did you apply for the OTCIQ? And what is your estimation of getting access to it?
I'm in constant contact with OTC markets. At least 2-3 times a week, I email, I contact, I reach out. I'm on very good speaking terms to one of the managers there. So to answer your question, we applied probably about a month ago for our access. I would say maybe even closer to 8 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks. I can't even remember. Mm-hmm. So we have the initial access. I can go into the back end and I can make minor changes, but I do not have the ability to upload financials as of yet. OTC Markets has made it quite clear to me that we and any other company on OTC Markets, if you are not current with your state, you will not get access to upload your financials. So we have to do it in sequence, correct? We have to go, 1, we get the state compliant. 2, we apply for our OTC access to upload our financials. 3, we make sure we're paid up with OTC Markets. Because again, once we pay Nevada almost $13,000, then we got to pay OTC Markets their $3,500. So it's a constant money spending extravaganza, but we work in steps, and that's what we're doing.
I see. And your rough estimation as to whether you'll be able to upload the filings?
Well, like I said, they told me as soon as I pay the state, almost immediately thereafter, I will have access to uploading my filings. So I would say maybe, hypothetically speaking, they're always a few days behind, maybe the first week in August.
Perfect. Yeah, that answers the question. Okay.
Just throwing that out there, I don't know. OTC is, they have their own timeline, but I'm in constant contact with them. And the lady that I speak with, she made it quite clear to me the process and the timeline.
Perfect. Okay, and to the last question, let's go about the nearest target and nearest main goal of the company and what is next. Meaning, basically, a summary of what's going to happen now.
Well, all things being equal, let's just assume the main task at hand is to get compliance, right? Mm-hmm. Number 1.
Yeah.
So let's assume I do that, because I'm very confident that I will. Mm-hmm. My next goal is to make an acquisition. I have been, as I mentioned to you before, I have been talking to several parties. One of them out in California that I was at last week, and I really can't get into it, but it's a very nice business. And they look at the stock, they see the liquidity, they see the market, they see that this company trades very actively, so they're very interested to working with me. As far as what or who, I really can't say that. But I promise you one thing. I'm working very hard to get this done. I'm spending my own money to get it done. So that should tell you where my head is at and what my priorities are.
I see. Well, Adrian, thank you very much for all your thorough answers and all the time you spent with us. It is much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I hope all my shareholders and investors can take the best out of this meeting. I believe we have a very bright future ahead of us for both companies, and I'm actually in the process of acquiring a third company, and I will let you all know very soon what that one is, because I'm looking forward to that one. It has a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful vehicle.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Struglo. It was very nice to see you. You have a great day, my friend.
Thank you. Goodbye.